India has not been a wholly inclusive democracy. Even as inclusiveness is an idea that lies at the heart of our ethos and our constitution. We pride ourselves in diversity and plurality. And yet, in the 21st century, a constitutional guarantee of individual fundamental rights has not been adequate to protect an entire section of our population. Article 14, which guarantees the right to equality. Article 15, that protects one from discrimination. And Article 21, that provides for the fundamental right to life and liberty, were inserted into the Constitution to also guard the individual against societal prejudices and uphold his or her right to a way of life that may not be the same as that of the majority. Noble intentions of the country's guiding document, whose heart is in the right place, but the reality is quite something else. It is a travesty that the LGBT community in India is still knocking on the doors of the highest court in this country to merely have their right to their way of life to be upheld and acknowledged as legal. This after they had been let down by the same Supreme Court in 2013, when it upheld Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code, which outlaws even consensual gay sex. This decision overturned a landmark judgment by the Delhi High Court in 2009, which had declared Section 377 unconstitutional for violating fundamental rights. But there is some hope, and the Supreme Court appears to be changing its mind. It has referred the curative petition calling for a re-examination of the 2013 judgment to a constitution bench, underlining the seriousness of the case at hand and its implications for our democracy and an entire community. And crucially, the Supreme Court, when upholding privacy as a fundamental right, in a judgment in August last year, observed that the sexual orientation of every individual had to be protected. As the battle inside the court continues, members of the queer community across India, and particularly in Mumbai, have carried on their campaign to raise awareness, fight prejudice, and empower men, women, and trans individuals. Ashok Rao Kavi has been at the forefront of the queer rights movement in India. He came out in 1984 and has written and spoken extensively on the campaign for equality for India's sexual minorities. He founded India's first advocacy organization for the LGBTQ community in India, the Humsafar Trust, based in Mumbai.
What is the prevalent homophobia in India today? It does come from the British times. You know, the British could not get into the Red Fort because the Red Fort, the Mughal court, was dominated by Hijras. All the bureaucracy, this was all in the control of the Hijras. The British had to get in. So they brought in this law which is essentially from the Old Testament. The law in England came from the Old Testament. It's an ecclesiastical law that became criminal law. And that law was brought into India by Macaulay. And when it was used against the Hijras or against gay men, it was essentially a law that marginalized and made us criminals. You get what I mean? So that's where homophobia really starts as a modern phenomenon. Don't come out to surrounding society till you're financially secure. You know, then you can always say, okay, I'm like this, I'm earning my own living, so why should I bother with you? You know, that could be a better way of coming out. Because if you come out and your parents don't accept it, they'll take you to a psychologist, he'll give you shock treatment. Who wants that? So learn to be stable, come to terms with yourself, have a support system in place, friends, you know, lovers, whatever. And there are people like me who will help you with the counseling and everything. And that's a better way of coming out. And then when you're independent and you're financially, you can come out to your parents saying, I'm not going to get married, I'm going to live on my own, which is what a lot of my advice to youngsters is, and a lot of them are taking it.
Mumbai is clearly India's most diverse city, but is it really more accepting of the LGBT community? Is there a greater sense of security here than elsewhere in the country?
This city has always had the openness. Bollywood, you see, it's a city of culture. From Bal Gandharva onwards, you've had cross-dressers, you've had incredible cultural things in India, that were focused and started from Bombay. So it is easiest to be in Bombay and come out. When I've lived in Delhi, I have lots of friends in Calcutta. The first gay pride actually started in Calcutta with our group. We had what is called the Rainbow Pride Walk there, and friendship walk, and it was fantastic. But Calcutta has got a very cerebral attitude to homosexuality. It's not practicing homosexuality as a cultural subset of what human culture is, which Bombay does very well. The party scene, that if you see Pride in Bombay, it's not only the biggest Pride, but 1 month before Pride, there are treasure hunts by gay men. There are cricket matches by lesbians. There's kite flying by gay groups. There are the cultural events. The whole month is full of cultural events, and very few of the mainstream culture is coming to know it, but slowly they're coming to know. And book readings, dirty talk by bisexual women, they're fascinating. Transgender tamasha contests, by dancing queens. It is a very live scene, very vibrant scene. So it is great to be gay in Bombay today.
Sadhya was born a woman, but realized at the age of 9 that he didn't feel like one.
मुझे भी रियलाइज हो रहा था कि यार मेरी सिस्टर थी जो मुझसे बड़ी थी 2 साल, वो जैसे ग्रो करी थी मेरे सामने, मैं कुछ अलग था, मुझे वैसे सब नहीं फील हो रहा था, मुझे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा था जो वो कह रहे थे. लाइक उन्हें ड्रेसेस पसंद थे, उन्हें काफ़ी मेकअप करना पसंद था, मतलब लाइक मुझे बैंगल्स ला दो पापा या फिर नेल पेंट ला दो, तो मेरे लिए वो काफ़ी अजीब था. मतलब यार मुझे नहीं चाहिए, मुझे मेरी चॉइस ही नहीं है ये, और ये क्यों नहीं हो रहा है मेरे साथ. तो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता को पता होता है कि कुछ तो गलत हो रहा है, बट आप एग्जैक्टली पॉइंट नहीं समझ पाते कि क्या हो रहा है आपके साथ.
Sadhya is among many who has had the courage to speak about his identity after having found support and empowerment at the Humsafar Trust, and an experience of rejection closer home triggered an urge to seek help.
मैं एक शादी में गया था, एंड अभी जैसे कि फैमिली फंक्शन होता है तो फैमिली को पता होता है कि ये बर्थ से एक फीमेल है. तो वहाँ पे जब लोगों को बताया गया मेरे पेरेंट्स की तरफ से कि ऐसी चीज़ें हैं, इसका ये फिजिकल मतलब बॉडी डिसऑर्डर है, तो हम लोग चेंज करवाना चाहते हैं, अभी ये लड़की से लड़का बनना चाहती है. तो वहाँ पे जो रिएक्शन था उनका वो काफ़ी गलत था. मतलब लाइक ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है, ये तो फिर है ही नहीं कोई, मतलब ये लड़का तो बन ही नहीं सकती कंप्लीट, क्योंकि ऐसी कोई चीज़ होती ही नहीं है दुनिया में, एक तो लड़की होती है या फिर लड़का होता है. तो उस टाइम पे इतना ज़्यादा रिजेक्शन था. मतलब लोगों के माइंड में सिर्फ 3 कैटेगरी के लोग बसे हुए थे. एक तो ये लड़का हो सकती है, या फिर लड़की हो सकती है, या फिर हिजड़ा हो सकती है. सो आप डिसाइड कीजिए आपकी लड़की है क्या. मतलब वो लड़का तो हो ही नहीं सकती, बिकॉज नेचुरली वो मतलब एट द टाइम ऑफ बर्थ वो उसके पास असाइनेड बर्थ था फीमेल, जो कि वो एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर रही है. तो फिर वो हिजड़ा हो सकती है, क्योंकि उसकी फिजिकल, जैसे कि हमारी एक ट्रीट होता है, अपने आप को ट्रीट करने का एक तरीका होता है. तो मैं हमेशा मेल के तरीके से रहता था, मैं वही चाहता था. तो उनके लिए वो काफ़ी डिफ़िकल्ट था समझना कि ये हो क्या रहा है, ये इंसान अपने आप को बताना क्या चाहता है. तो वो सबसे बड़ा रिजेक्शन था मेरी लाइफ का अब तक का, क्योंकि वहाँ पे मेरी पूरी फैमिली के लोग थे, मेरे रिलेटिव्स थे, जिनके सामने मेरे पेरेंट्स को तक काफ़ी हद तक उन्हें वो एम्बैरसिंग इंसल्टिंग फील हुआ होगा मेरी वजह से. तो हाँ, वहाँ पे मुझे लगा कि यार लाइफ का सबसे बड़ा रिजेक्शन यही है, अब यहाँ से स्टार्ट करना है. रिलेटिव ने तो रिजेक्ट कर दिया, अब देखते दुनिया क्या कहती है.
Coming up on the other side.
I think acceptance is key.
Harish Iyer has been a vocal advocate of equality of the LGBT community. A Mumbaiker himself, he came out in his 20s and has become a full-time activist. Not just to secure the rights of the LGBT community, but also survivors of child sexual abuse.
Once you accept your reality, once you accept the core of who you are, then you're not scared of people busting you, of people finding out something about you. Your secret is not a secret anymore, and you don't really care if people know about it because you have accepted your reality. My life blossomed. I started doing very well in my career. I was wonderful when it came to creative ideas. I think once you accept your truth and you hold it close to your heart, everything else becomes a cakewalk.
And Mumbai, which has a very vibrant and active LGBT scene with several community organizations working towards the same cause, has been a stage for stories both tragic and reassuring.
One day when I was in, there was this college called SIES College, and there was a student of SIES College called Sheetal Bhan who was making a documentary. And she was a close friend of mine, and she decided that it's time for me to come out and accept my sexuality. What she did was she did a journalism project on me. She outed me in college. Of course, she did tell me that she's outing me in college. And then she called me to a restaurant where she announced to all of her friends that I was gay. And she made me feel comfortable, and there was not a wink by anybody. No one discriminated, no one tried behaving badly with me. Everyone accepted me the way I am. And then she said that, see, look, I mean, what were you scared about? There are people, I know there are people who hate, but there are people who love you too. I have this friend of mine who was pushed to suicide just because his parents wouldn't accept him. So he had a good friend circle, his colleagues were accepting, but his parents wouldn't accept him. And there was this one day when he just drank some rat poison or something, and he died. And after dying, when I went to his house and I told that, you know what, after like 15 days or 20 days of his death, I went and I spoke to his parents, and I told them that, you know what, he was going through severe stress because of your non-acceptance. And his parents said, oh, that's anyways a secret, so don't tell that to anyone. So even after the child's death, the parents refused to accept. So I think that's one devastating moment for me. I was like, okay, now the child is no more, and you've cried your tears, you're unable to come out of that grief. Even in that grief, you don't want to accept your child. I think that was heartbreaking.
Sonu realized she was bisexual while in school and faced ridicule, rejection, and subsequently discrimination at the workplace. But through her activism and advocacy, as well as her work with the Humsafar Trust, she has emerged as a prominent campaigner for equality, offering hope for lesbian and bisexual women to have a safe space in the environment around them.
Work ethics were being challenged, but the root of it was homophobia. And since I was not out at my workplace, I did not know how to handle the work situation. And I came out to my brother because he had been in the corporate field for some time, and he really helped me through it. So I think my brother and my father, the two male figures in my life, they were very supportive when I came out. Now my entire family is very, very supportive. I've been speaking to a lot of people in the media. I'm very out about my sexuality. I joined the Humsafar Trust soon after 2009. I joined the Humsafar Trust in 2010. When I started feeling that no, it's time that I work on LGBT, because there is far too much, homophobia or transphobia that's existing in society, and it will come in the way of my, even if I work anywhere else. So that's when I joined the NGO, and from since then on, it's been very, very positive working with the community.
And even as laws can be stifling and a constant source of threat, Mumbai has offered scope for encouragement wherein gays, lesbians, bisexuals and transgenders can be more open about their identities.
What's nice about Mumbai is that I could finally find a community which was very out. I could find a support space which was like fully fledged. I mean, the Humsafar Trust, the NGO, is actually in a BMC building, which speaks a lot about how mainstream that space itself is. So to find a community which is out and proud and loud and discussing their sexuality. This was not possible for me from the small town that I came from. When it comes to the police here, the police is pretty supportive, like at least to the organizations that work on LGBT. We have found that sensitizing politicians and police has been a relatively easier experience. Like we've been having the Pride walk in Mumbai for the last 9 years, and we've always got the police permissions, and the police comes and supports us. In my 6 years of working with the NGO, the Humsafar Trust, handling crisis, I have found that the police has responded to our crisis very effectively. So this is why I think that it is supportive. Also the social scene in Mumbai is very good. I think if you look at Mumbai, the social fabric in general is so supportive of socializing. It has helped the community as well. So if you come to Mumbai, it's very easy to socialize and to find support spaces.
Kanika Roy was in her 20s when she found out she was bisexual, and told us how preconceived and misunderstood notions about sexual preferences have contributed to prejudice.
Being bisexual, you're misunderstood from both sides. Like, you're misunderstood from the community itself. The mainstream community feels that this is off, or this is not what is usually seen in terms of relationships. So bisexuals kind of have a difficulty in terms of acceptance from both sides of the spectrum, I feel. And also there is this sense that bisexuals are disloyal, or that they are confused in some way, and this comes from both sides. So being bisexual, not just in India but anywhere, it's questioned a lot.
Now that the Section 377 case is being heard once again by the Supreme Court, the NDA government will soon have to take a position. In 2013, when the BJP was in opposition, Rajnath Singh and Yogi Adityanath described homosexuality as unnatural, while Arun Jaitley spoke in favour of decriminalization. But will the NDA back LGBT rights? Or will it be held back by other constituents of the Sangh Parivar who may hold an unfavourable view?
Promise had been made that unnecessary laws would be thrown out. It was a law. It was a promise made by the Modi government, and many laws were thrown out. But this law is not being thrown out. Now my feeling is that ultimately this will be smuggled in through the laws on privacy. See, the Supreme Court and the Constitutional Bench has made certain issues that your sexual orientation, your sexual life is also part of your private life, and you have the right to privacy is also a constitutional right. It's my right under the Constitution. My privacy, my freedom of expression, these are my sovereign rights. Now, under privacy comes sexual orientation. Your sexuality comes under privacy. You don't have to always talk about it, right? So if it is there, and if it is through the privacy laws, maybe that will happen, that Section 377 will be struck down. But I do not know, because looking at, we have made, my NGO, the Humsafar Trust, has made an effort to send a whole bunch of material to every MP in Indian Parliament. What does Section 377 mean? How much it comes in the way of our daily life, as because of Section 377, blackmail in the workplace, you can stigma and discrimination, you may be thrown out of your job, you may be beaten up. All these things have been explained to Parliament. But if they choose not to listen, if they think that a law that has been imposed by the British is a very Indian law and it protects your ridiculous Indian culture, then I'm very sorry.
In 2014, the Supreme Court upheld the rights of transgenders, recognizing them as a third gender. A bill to safeguard their interests is being deliberated upon, with a standing committee even recommending changes to the definition of transgenders to make it more inclusive. Subsequently, in 2017, the Supreme Court upheld privacy as a fundamental right. Will the Apex Court, which appears to have begun a process of introspection, now re-evaluate and overturn its own judgment of 2013, which had recriminalized homosexuality? Will India choose the path of inclusivity, or will our laws still be shaped by bigotry and age-old prejudices? Time will tell.
I think acceptance is key. And when we speak about acceptance, we need to understand that LGBT people have accepted heterosexuals all their life. So when you're accepting an LGBT person, you are not doing them a favor, you're returning the favor.